Hi guys, it's April and I garden down in southeast Nebraska, zone 5B, but possibly 6A because the maps are reconfiguring themselves. So we'll see how that turns out. I might be changing zones, so that's something. But I am here today down in my preservation pantry because last year around this time, I did a pantry tour and it showed everything I had in my pantry. So I figured I'd do it again this year. So that way I can kind of see how things have changed in my pantry. Now, like most people do in their preservation pantry tours, I am gonna give you a warning that the lighting in here is horrible. I am in my basement, I am in the back room. We have a little bit of lighting and that's about it. And that's kind of what all of this food needs. So that is what we have. Now, I'm not entirely sure how I want to do this tour. I might just start on the left and work my way across the room. That probably makes the most sense, but we'll see how this turns out. So this is probably going to be a hodgepodge of me explaining everything that's going on because clear back there in the back, you can see all my extra boxes for my cans that I need to get in some kind of orderly state because that's just a mess. I have my honey nuts right here and there's some butter babies in here as well. And I have my butterkins. What you can't see behind all that is, I can't even lift it, hold on, is my, you know what? Why don't I just pick you up? I don't know. A whole tray of garlic that is just waiting to be used. And then on the floor down here, which once again, you cannot see, is a box of candy roasters. Now I'm gonna get to this, I'm hoping in the next month or so, where I roast a lot of this up and I either freeze it or I can it. I wanna do a little bit of both because I like using this kind of stuff in risotto, and when I can it, it's really easy just to throw that can in the risotto. But when I'm making like pumpkin bread or pumpkin muffins and things like that, the frozen stuff actually works pretty well for that. So I'm gonna do a mixture of both of those, but for now they're doing pretty well just sitting here in storage. Also on the floor, you can't really see, these are my potatoes. This is what's left of my potato harvest. The smaller ones in the front are Magic Mollies that I grew myself. And then I have some Japanese sweet potatoes that I got from the farmer's market. So that is what's in there. The stuff along the sides and in the shelf, these are just my extra canning lids, both the tops and the rings. And then I have some extra containers and bags and stuff in case I need them. Nothing special. Not a flattering angle, but the only way I can get you to see the tops of these shelves. So at the top, I've got some, an extra bucket for my Lomi that's upstairs, a CO2 cartridge for my soda stream, and then I've got a lot of extra waters and filters for various different things such as the Berkey and the Lomi. Over here I've got some backstock of some of the teas I like. I've got my coffee filters, a lot of coffee, which is kind of funny because I don't drink coffee. My husband does, so I keep it for my husband. And then I have some, oh, you can't even see it. Up there I have some of last year's sweet potatoes and some of last year's candy roasters. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about canning up the candy roasters for risotto. So I like to make a butternut squash risotto that has a little bit of imitation crab in it. And this is what I like to grab because then I don't have to worry about cutting up and preparing a butternut or a butterkin or a candy roaster right then and there. It's just, it becomes a really quick and easy meal. And this has a lot of flavor in it and I really like it. I really do not like this angle, but you know, here we are. So I've got a whole bunch of pizza sauce. All of these are various different kinds of salsas. So I've got peach salsa, 2 different kinds of peach salsa, a salsa verde, and then this is my picante sauce. This This is what I pretty much gravitate to the most because this is what I grew up on. And I think I finally have a recipe that tastes a lot like the paste picante, and so this I will definitely be doing every single year, especially if I am low. But right now I have a good backstock of several rows. On the other side, we have start of the pickled stuff. So we have the cowboy candy, which I like to make with pineapple in it because I like it on the sweeter side. I have, let's see if I can get one of these out. This is radish rat tails. This is basically the seed pod of the radish because the radish has gone to seed, but it has the same flavor as a radish and it really tastes good pickled. I almost prefer this to the actual radish itself. Here we have some pickled onions and some pickled carrots of all different colors, because you can even see that there's some darker colored carrots that I've pickled as well that almost look like the onions, but look at how dark that carrot is. It is so dark. Next to that, we have some pickled banana peppers, which this will be used for on top of pizzas and sandwiches and things like that. They'll be further cut down. I just had to do these ones in a hurry, so they were cut relatively thick. And then that last stuff is pickle relish, various different forms of pickle relish. But that means I get to put you at a better angle because this is weird. I don't know if better angle is the way to say that, but. So starting over here, this is my kimchi pickles. We don't eat a ton of traditional pickles, so I have doctored this up so that it's got a little bit of a kick, but not a lot. I really like kimchi, and I have found that when you add some of those same seasonings to a pickle, it is phenomenal. And here we have the only fruits that I have preserved. There's a fruit truck that comes maybe once every couple of months and brings in-season fruit. I did strawberries this spring. Not entirely happy how those turned out. I mean, I lost a lot to siphoning, so I'm still learning how to do this canning thing. And the strawberries went a little weird in the jar. They taste okay, but I think I have a learning curve that I need to figure out. However, the peaches that I did, I have both diced and sliced peaches. This is my favorite thing in the world. I love eating these just right out of the jar, and I usually save the syrup to put into different kinds of cocktails and mixes. And sometimes I'll even add it to some carbonated water I made with a soda stream so that I get a peach soda kind of vibe, and it's so good. Here we have some tomato paste. I've also canned up some cherry tomatoes. I like to use these in a light, say, pasta kind of mix. So it's a tomato pasta. It's not the traditional heavy tomato sauce, but just some lightly roasted cherry tomatoes in with the pasta. It's really good. Over here, I have, okay, this has got two different ones here. I'm gonna pull these both down. Both of these are technically for the same use. Both of these are for tomato risotto. However, they've got slightly different flavorings. This has a lot of pho seasoning to it. So I had some seasoning packets to do my pho broth, and I actually added it to this instead. And then this is more of the chunky style. It still has some of the same seasoning, but it's also got lighter tomatoes in it. But I will use both of these when I am making a tomato risotto. If you can't tell, risotto is one of my favorite things to make. I love risotto. So here we have a green tomato curry, a green tomato ketchup, a Taco Bell style hot sauce, and on the end is a tomato chutney. What I kind of like to do, this tomato curry by itself is really good, but I like to take some of that chutney and mix it in as well when I'm making a curry, and it just adds another note. I like a sweeter curry, so it just adds another note of that because there are raisins and things in that chutney. And I honestly need to figure out, I used to be a big ketchup user, but I'm not so much anymore. The only thing I really use it on anymore is if I do a meatloaf, and I can't say that I do it that often. So I have to find uses for this ketchup. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do that. I have in the past made ketchup cake. I don't know if this is going to work with that kind of concept because this is a looser ketchup than what you would find in, say, like a Heinz bottle or something like that, which is why I struggled with finding uses for this in the first place. I just didn't have the patience to wait for it to render down that much. So that is the ketchup situation. I think this is a better angle for this stuff. Down here is a ton of cucumber jelly. All of this is from last year because I did not grow cucumbers this year. I'm not a big cucumber eater, but cucumber jelly, I enjoy it. So this is still from last year's stock. I have some hot pepper jellies. These are a various mix. Some of them are even a mix within the can. So just whatever I had at the time, that is what I made into jelly. And then this year, for the first time, I made ground cherry jelly. And this tastes really good when you add it to things that you want that like sweet barbecue-y kind of flavor. So sometimes when I am rendering down a sauce or something, I'll add some of this to it to make it more of a barbecue, and it is great. So over here on this side, all of this is just rendered tomatoes. This doesn't have any seasoning in it. It doesn't have a lot of work put into it. It's just me panicking and needing to get the tomatoes off my counter. Will I go through this many tomato products? I don't know. But I have them, and so I need to figure out how to use them. Here they are. Here's where things start to get a little less exciting. I have various different kinds of flour. This is my bread flour. I have rice in both places, up here and down here. And then let me rotate you. I have this is AP? Yeah, this is AP, and then this is my sugars. And I've got, right down here, I've got my apple cider vinegar, my white vinegar, and my lemon. What you can't see is because I keep getting in front of it, is behind me, I have my salt. I just don't know how to get out of the way. Which brings us to this last back corner. I have some whole wheat flours back here. I have a couple of bone broths because I am trying to make my own stock of broth. So this is the first batch that I've ever done. And then I have some sweet chili sauce that I made because I love chili sauce, especially when I make dumplings or scallion pancakes or things like that. Down here is just some boxes of liquid death and some beast because, you know, sometimes you just need to have a little bit of fun in your life. Overall, it isn't a huge pantry, but there is only 2 of us right now that I am feeding, so it does a lot of work for us. However, I'm always looking for suggestions on other things that I should start to can, so tell me what your favorite thing to can is and how you use it. Also, if you have a great way to use up ketchup, let me know. Otherwise, I am starting to think about the 2024 growing season. I have the seed catalogs out. I'm deciding what I need to buy and purchase, so I will probably be doing a seed haul soon. So if you want to follow me on my journey of the 2024 garden, Feel free to subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to get all of the notifications. I do also have a Instagram and Threads account where I update with a lot more of just visual kinds of updates of what I'm doing. So photographs of things I'm preserving and just odds and ends of what I'm doing. But other than that, I have a crock pot of spaghetti sauce starting to boil upstairs. So I might be canning that later today. So I need to get back to that. So I do hope I will see you guys again in another video, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.